The afterlife, heaven, hell, Valhalla, and beyond, into the unknown. Let's talk about the afterlife. And no, I'm not talking about your life after some traumatic event, unless that event is death itself. This video is about the continued existence of your soul after you take your last breath as a human being. From judgment day to reincarnation with a dose of damnation. Let's get this started. For the record, most people of faith believe in some kind of afterlife, regardless of whatever faith they adhere to. Unfortunately, I don't think that's a result of whatever religion you practice. And yeah, even a small percentage of people who don't believe in God believe in some kind of afterlife. So maybe the right place to really begin this journey is to ask, are we pre-wired to believe in the afterlife? And no, you don't want to hear the answer, but it is thought we are pre-wired to believe in some kind of afterlife. And there are a couple of realistic explanations for all of us being pre-wired. And some of those explanations are head-scratchers, just like the thought of an afterlife itself. For instance, natural cognition is one such explanation, and that one claims our belief in the afterlife is rooted in our ability to think in regards to how we think, and that the belief is not learned. We just happen to believe it. There is also the explanation that it's just natural to believe in the continuation of the self, and all those thoughts that are known as the theory of the mind, which is just kind of a refusal to accept we all might just eventually turn to dust, and that is the end of our story. And now all I have to say about our belief in the afterlife, well, for me, it's simple. It's because nobody really wants to die. So yeah, we look for options. And with this out of the way, let's look at the history of the afterlife. And this should be kind of fun. Fun because our belief in some kind of afterlife goes all the way back, some 300,000 years, when our distant ancestors, Homo naledi, displayed ritualistic behavior by disposing their dead deep in a cave that was hard to reach. Even our Neanderthal cousins are thought to have beliefs in the afterlife, because they placed stone tools in the graves of their loved ones. And before Egyptians got all up and excited about their version of the afterlife and started wrapping their dead up in rags and whatnot, we had the old ancient Mesopotamian belief of a dark and dreary underworld, a place where the dead dwelled, and what the ancients knew as the land of no return. Now we have to take a step back here and address the concept of the soul, because if we didn't have a soul, well, there's not much to talk about when it comes to the afterlife. And that idea of having a soul has to date back to when our caveman brothers and sisters buried us with tools and toys, and yep, the Egyptians believed in the human soul as well. But it was the Greeks who refined the idea of what the soul is. And yep, the definition of our souls has changed through history. But the bottom line is, it's always been tied to some kind of afterlife. Yet there remains an explanation for the human soul without an afterlife, and that is as the sum of your memories, personality, and life experiences. And yeah, that afterlife exists only in the memories of others. Anybody who is even partially intelligent about history knows and understands ancient Egypt's beliefs in an afterlife. And if you're paying attention, you might find some similarities to your own belief in the afterlife. For those way back before the sands of time started running out, they believed life was a transition to eternal life where they could once again be reunited with old friends and family members. But they had to pass judgment in the hall of truth, where their heart was weighed against the feather of truth and justice. And if you were found to be unworthy, a great monster devoured your soul, ending it all. There are also the ancient Mesopotamian and Hebrew beliefs of the afterlife, a life of a dark, miserable underworld where everybody went, regardless of their behavior in this life. Of course, the ancient Greeks had Elysium, which was their paradise, and Hades for a dark underworld, kind of like hell. Then there's the Norse belief in Valhalla, and we can't forget the Indian religions that deal with reincarnation, and in old South America, the Aztecs believed in different kinds of afterlives for warriors, priests, normal people, and those that were sacrificed. And when it comes to the dark continent, a lot of African beliefs in the afterlife have to do with their ancestors who require honor and offerings. And then there's the view of the Christian afterlife. While all Christian denominations pretty much agree on heaven and hell, they do differ on the concept of purgatory, that wandering, dismal existence between life and afterlife. That is a Catholic belief and not one necessarily held by others. Even the timing of your judgment is different. Some denominations believe it's when you die, and for other denominations you stay dead, like you just sleep until God calls you all of us home to face judgment, the afterlife. When it's all said and done, it is what you and you alone believe. And the only belief I have in the afterlife is that I hope to be surprised. The SS Urban. It was a fun tour. Duluth, Minnesota. Check it out if you're ever up there. They don't do shots of tequila. But they do offer up a pretty cool, nice shot glass. The afterlife. I just do not know what to tell you about the afterlife, but this was a fun video, and there goes my phone. I ought to put it up, but I don't. What I was going to say is I equate the afterlife to consciousness. What the hell is consciousness? What the hell is the afterlife? They got to be tied together somehow. I mean, maybe you just go to sleep and never wake up again, and that's it. And all I got to say is, if that's the case, what a fucking shame. I mean, really. It's like, if we were the only life in the universe, what a fucking waste of space. I don't know how else to put it. I just hope it does not turn out to be one chronic joke. It'd be really worse if reincarnation was a thing and it was just a repetitive joke. I'll leave that thought with you all. Thank you for watching. Go ahead, comment, leave a like, subscribe. Please subscribe. Why not? You're watching it. You enjoyed it all the way to the end. Subscribe. Out of here.